Offspring, Episode 1, written by Hannah Silverman. Teaser, fade in, exterior bayou night. A giant-eyed owl rests on a tree branch. A pretty redhead in a white jacket and short pink skirt runs through the swamp, the perfect horror movie victim. The owl flies away. The redhead trips over a log. She sees Junior, 16 to 17, teal jacket, purple undershirt, a young slasher that looks like Frankenstein's monster and Jason Voorhees had a teenage son. He stands over her. He grins, holds up a butterfly knife.
Hey there, Low Red. You lost?
Stay away from me.
I could always give you directions to Granny's house,
He flips his weapon, an expert beyond his years.
but it's going to cost you, let's say, an arm and a leg.
No, no, no.
Junior raises his arm, trips on the same log.
That's a sprained ankle right there. I thought you were faking before, but oh, that does not feel good.
He stands, picks up a stick, and uses it as a crutch.
I'll try again. Okay, here we go.
The redhead kicks the stick away. He falls.
Exact same spot. Landed on the exact same spot. Ow.
The redhead runs and limps away. Exterior swamp night. The redhead bumps into a massive, muscular figure. It pulls out a meat cleaver, grins wildly. Slash of the cleaver. The carver, 40s purple undershirt, muddy overalls, heavy boots, a professional slasher, and hulking beefcake, with sewn up skin similar to Junior. He whistles. Spotlights turn on. 3 rows of teen slashers observe him. Many of them intently take notes. The carver wipes blood from his cleaver off on his shirt.
All right, class. Who can tell me what it did wrong?
Dozens of hands raised. End of teaser. Act 1. Interior dirty kitchen night. Junior at the table. He wraps his ankle. The carver paces.
Sloppy, all across the board. Detectable menace zone. Cliche use of a one-liner, not to mention.
He slams his cleaver into the table.
Your Vic ran away.
Come on, don't I get a gold star for trying my best?
Not in my class.
He extracts his cleaver.
For Lilith's sake, Junior, even Darla Joe was able to finish her final exam.
He holds up a photograph of Darla Joe, 6 to 7, curly hair, pink overalls, a kid slasher with Shirley Temple and Chucky the Killer Doll vibes. A sparkly pink unicorn stick horse is stabbed through a victim's heart.
Now, just because I'm teaching the class, it don't mean you get to slack off, son.
But Pop, what if I don't want to be, what if I'm not cut out for slashing, so to speak?
What are you talking about? You're slashing Offspring.
He lifts Junior's arm. It's a patchwork of skin.
You're handcrafted for this work.
Junior rolls his sleeve back down, upset.
Tell you what, we'll run a observation. Getting some remedial lessons for you. You'll loosen you up for the next test.
He grabs a tiny notebook from his pocket, flips through it.
Let's see, stabbing, maiming. Ooh, here we are. Disembowelment.
He holds the book up to Junior. A crudely drawn image, scrawled in crayon, depicts the carver killing a victim.
Here's your minimum requirement. Do this tonight, or don't expect any going out in public privileges for the next month.
He takes away Junior's knife and hands him a butter knife.
And hold on to that one for now. Let's see if you can earn your butterfly back. We'll leave at midnight.
The carver exits. Junior checks the time, 10:30 p.m.
Midnight, huh?
Exterior abandoned shack night. Junior pulls up in a rowboat. He ties it off. He has a beat-up Walkman and headphones. The ground is littered with spray paint cans. The shack is covered in graffiti. Junior puts on his headphones. The cassette tape titled Away from Pop and Other Stuff Mix plays. It's punk teen angst meets top 40. Junior paints/jams out. He jumps to reach certain spots, stands on tippy toes. He is in his element. He finishes, pauses, stands back. It's a portrait depicting the redhead when she was alive. Her image is one in a huge collage of other victims, all done in Junior's style. Their eyes all stare back at him.
Better make this quick.
He straightens up to speak.
I'm here today with all of you to honor Red. I didn't know her, but she seemed like a tough girl. Someone who wasn't afraid to go for the cheap shot if it meant she'd get away on her own.
He unties his ankle bandage. He's unhurt.
No hard feelings about that, by the way. I gave you the opening, but you ran right into him. Ugh, that sounds Vic blamey.
The redhead's eyes stare. Junior looks away guiltily.
I'm sorry.
He departs. A cloaked figure, silhouetted by darkness, emerges. A mosquito sits on their palm. It buzzes in front of the portrait, follows Junior. The figure shrinks back into the shadows. Exterior drive-in night. It's packed with cars. Several passengers are horny teenagers ready for a steamy date night. The Carver hides in the tree line.
First movie night of the drive-in season. Place is crawling with Vicks. Eh, Junior?
Junior skulks behind him.
Sure, Pop. Victims and victims all over the joint. Whoop-de-doo.
Junior enviously watches a waspy teenage couple.
Hey, what's all this? I take you to show you the ropes and all you can get is gets attitude out of you.
I always figured my first date to a drive-in wouldn't be my dad. And yet here we are.
Kids these days, you give them a toe and they take the whole foot.
Guy, 16, conventional hunk, young Republican vibes, and his date, doll, 16, conventional cutie, could pass as Sandy from Greece, snuggle up in a convertible.
Oh, Guy, it looks like a scary part's coming up. I can't watch.
Easy, doll, baby. I'll protect you from all the baddies out there.
You promise?
Cross my heart, hope to die.
They lean in for a kiss. The Carver presses his face against the window. Guy screams, pushes doll, jumps out of the car.
Ow, Guy, what's gotten into you?
She sees the Carver, screams. Guy runs away. The Carver flings his meat cleaver, lands dead center in Guy's skull.
Sorry, doll. Guy here's got a splitting headache.
Doll shrieks. She moves to the driver's seat, starts the car, pulls on the headlights.
Oh, we got a fighter. Junior, you watching?
Junior's gone. Doll grits her teeth, revs the engine, floors the gas pedal.
Whoa.
Exterior snack shop, night. A crash of the Carver as he's hit by the car. Junior studies the menu. A scared worker, Duke, 16, skull t-shirt, beanie, looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo in a grunge phase, shivers.
Yeah, I don't know. I like nachos, but that's more of a make-at-home kind of snack. How do I know it's not going to come out soggy?
I could give the cheese on the side, sir.
Screams of moviegoers and car crashes.
I like the way you think, Duke. One order of...
Duke pushes the nachos, cheese on the side, over to him.
and a diet.
Duke gives him a large soda.
Thanks. Wow, great service. Terrible business model, but I'm not complaining.
Junior!
Junior sees his dad. He clings to Doll's car hood, waves his knife around. Junior gives him a weak thumbs up.
Do all dads go out of their way to embarrass you? It can't just be mine.
Your dad's the
Carver, kind of. Made me out of his favorite Vicks with his own 2 hands, which he just loves to remind me.
So you're a monster?
Me and my pop aren't monsters.
Junior pulls out his butter knife.
We're slashers. Big difference.
He advances on Duke.
Now hold still. Got a minimum requirement to take care of.
No, please, wait!
Junior slashes Duke's body. Duke screams. End of Act 1. Act 2. Interior snack shop night. Duke screams. Stop short.
Ah! Wait, what?
Looks down at his shirt and it's torn to shreds.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Sorry about your shirt. Had to make it look believable.
But you, and the knife stab?
Hold that thought. Do you think you can get some hands on some ketchup? Like, a lot of ketchup?
Exterior drive-in continuous. Doll uses a piece of broken bumper as a weapon.
You'll want to skip prom night once I'm done with you, doll.
Bring it on, old man. I've seen dye jobs scarier than you.
They engage in battle. By their feet, moving shadows shift along smoking wreckages of cars. It targets Junior. Exterior snack shop moments later. Junior squirts ketchup on Duke's shirt.
Okay, now kind of lie back and stick your tongue out like this.
He demonstrates. Duke lies down. He poses like a dead body.
Like this?
Perfect.
Junior dumps an industrial tub of ketchup all over Duke, crushes some curly fries and curly fries and corn dogs, flops them on Duke's chest, a faux gruesome look.
There, that should keep you safe till my pop and I are out of here.
Junior smears some gunk onto his shirt.
And some extra credit while I'm at it can't hurt.
So, just to be totally clear, you're not gonna kill me?
No. I mean, technically I have to, but I'm not gonna. Sorry, it's complicated.
Aren't you supposed to? You know, want to? Like him?
Look, if it were up to me, I'd blow the slashing gig in a heartbeat. Move to a big city somewhere, become an underground spray artist. I'd make a real name for myself, no more of this junior crap. But my old man, he's one of the only high-level slashers out there.
He takes a long, thoughtful sip of his soda.
And he always wanted a kid that would pass on his legacy.
Man, but that's a heavy load.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter how dumb the tradition is as long as you're still around, as long as it's still around when you die.
No kidding.
Junior takes his nachos, cheese on the side, and his drink.
I gotta go steady. Don't forget to throw in a twitch every now and then. Really sells the disembowelment.
Hey, how long do I have to stay like this?
Junior exits. The shadows follow him. Exterior drive-in night. Junior settles himself by the tree line. A shadow scurries away from his hand.
But,
The shadow sneaks some nachos off of his tray.
huh?
He looks in the opposite direction. The shadow dips his nachos into his cheese.
Hey, knock that off.
Junior swats the shadow away. It slaps him in the face.
Oh, you want to go?
Junior stands.
I eviscerated a dude's shirt for those nachos. I'll do the same to defend them. Show yourself.
The shadows morph into the hair of a young girl. Musume, 1617, a Japanese ghost in long white robes and a triangle-shaped headband. She floats in midair. Junior's skin blushes green.
Surrender the nachos.
No.
She attacks again. Junior dodges.
Whoa, watch it.
Watch yourself.
Junior dodges. They spar. She captures him in her hair.
Any last words?
Just two. Split ends.
He slashes at her hair, frees himself. She screams.
Do you know how long it took for me to grow all that out?
She lunges. Junior faints, grabs her around the throat, raises his butter knife.
Nice form, boy.
They stop. The carver holds Doll in the same grasp as Junior.
You got her right where you want her. Now, what you want to do is...
Doll uses her heel to slice open a cut in the carver's arm.
Dagnabbit, woman. Why would you wear those on a date?
They fight again. Junior and Musume trade a look.
So,
Yeah.
Junior lets her go.
how about a compromise? Plenty nachos here to share if you want.
He extends his hand.
Let's start over. Hi, call me Junior.
Musume's shadow hair shakes his hand.
Musume.
They sit cross-legged next to each other, share the nachos. Junior's visibly nervous.
You ever been to a drive-in before?
No. I've always been curious.
She morphs her hair shadows around the flickering lights of the film projector, makes intricate shadow puppets.
I like projectors.
Wow, yeah, they're really cool. Old school, you know? I'm kind of a vintage guy myself.
He takes out his Walkman. Musume holds it. Her fingers hover over the buttons.
Wait, no.
Too late, she presses play. The music Junior excuse me, listened to earlier, peals out at full volume. Musume hisses.
Sorry, 1 sec.
Turns it off.
Ugh. Pop punk?
Yeah, I bought it once as a joke, ironically. I mean, I didn't buy it. I stole it.
Wow. You stole anxiety at the nightclub? Such a bad boy.
Bad boy.
Curious, Junior waves his hand through Musume's shadow hair. It glides around his fingers.
Cool.
That kind of tickles.
Oh, sorry, I'll stop.
It's okay. I like it.
Her hair squiggles around Junior like an excited puppy.
I can tell.
Settle down now. Ow!
Are you okay?
It's caught on something.
They struggle. Musume snatches her hair back. Junior's knife falls out of its grasp. He picks it up.
Huh? My knife? Were you trying to take it?
No, swear to Lilith. I'm so sorry. My hair sort of has a mind of its own. I think it's a little uneasy after, you know.
Well, you can relax. Not even the carver can make this an intimidating weapon.
True. It is kind of pathetic.
Uh-huh.
Just so sad.
Hey, anything remotely sharp and metal in a slasher's hands is a confirmed lethal object.
Is that so?
Guaranteed.
Nah, I think you're bluffing.
Okay, then.
He points her toward the carver and doll fighting.
I bet I can hit the back of his head all the way from here.
You're on.
Junior winds up, checks his surroundings, tosses his knife. It hits a nearby rearview mirror clean off a car.
Ooh, so close.
Wait for it.
The mirror pings itself against a series of objects like a pinball, a trash can, the snack shop awning, a windshield, etc. It smacks the back of the carver's head.
Ah, mirror throwing's cheating.
Doll attacks him. They resume fighting.
No way. No way that counts.
Hey, I said I'd hit him. Didn't say what I'd hit him with.
You jerk. That's amazing. I had no idea slashers could do stuff like that.
You're the real lucky one. I've never seen a monster with powers like yours. Usually you only get 1 or 2, but you've really got it going on.
I'm not a monster.
You're not?
He pulls back from Musume.
Don't get mad when I say this, but you don't really seem like slasher material either.
The drive-in screen goes dark. All the lights in place blow out. The carver and doll stop.
Now what's wrong?
Oh no.
The screen turns white. People face the screen, hypnotized. Doll shields her eyes. She dashes into the woods. The screen reveals a giant ghost woman, 40s, resembles Musume but older looking. Her shadow hair extends out, scoops up hypnotized victims, pulls them in. Many punch or scream against the fabric. None can break out.
You're a ghoulie?
What was your first clue?
Wait. Don't tell me that's...
My mother, Akka. She said I needed to observe her in action.
The carver watches his Vicks get taken, becomes enraged.
Hey, knock it off, lady. This is my turf. Those Vicks are all mine.
But
Junior panics.
I thought the ghoulies were dead. The humans got to them.
Most of them.
Her shadows cover him.
You tricked me. You were trying to take my knife.
I had to think of some way to make you defenseless. You're my minimum requirement.
We don't have to do this. We're not like our parents.
Musume forces Junior to face her.
I saw what you did to the snack boy. You might not have the nerve to kill yet, but you're in training too. And one day, when you put that butter knife through a Vic's skull, I have to be ready before you decide to point it at me.
She carries him to the screen.
It's why we're made. We're offspring.
Holds him as an offering to her mother. End of Act 2.
All right. Excellent. All right, so I'm now going to do a little bit of a talk back here. So if everyone would like, if they would like to unmute themselves, And I'm going to solicit some questions from our audience and from the actors as well. You're more than welcome to chime in here. I know sometimes when you're reading, you have a very insightful ideas about what these characters are and what they can do. So I'm going to jump in with my first question, and this goes for anyone. Just raise your hand, and I'll try to point it out to you. What is a highlight or moment that stood out to you? All right. Well, I'll say a moment that stood out to me right off the bat was that first scene of Junior chasing the redhead, tripping, falling on the log. It's like so impactful. Immediately, I feel like you get the sense of what this story is about. You know, I laugh right away, and I know that we're in for sort of like a wild ride. That's something that, like, it's like, oh, this is great. I immediately know what's happening. Other thoughts, things, moments, images that perhaps stood out to you in the reading. Elaine, yes.
I think that when he sort of splits the date in the head, I think up to there I wasn't sure how violent I was imagining it, and I think because it was animated, I sort of was pretty conservative in how I was imagining the animation, and at that point, I kind of like that scene because it sort of was the first time that made me feel like this is more adult than I was picturing it. So that was pretty fun.
CJ.
The part that stood out to me was the part where he ends up saving the shop boy, or whatever his name was, because it shows the inner conflict that he has with the role that he's been given when he was born, and that shows like it introduces this thing like he doesn't want to do, but he has to do it because he's an offspring. So I like that. It was cool.
Great. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Adam, you said something to say?
I forgot it was animated for a second. And I was like, shooting at a drive-in is awesome. That's a lot of production. That's a lot of extras. It's a lot of cars. That's really hard. It's animated. Doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. Yep.
Awesome.
Does anyone know what kind of style of animation you have in mind for this?
I can answer that. This would be a 2D animated series. I've kind of described it as like a quasi 1960s sort of like Scooby-Doo vibe, where it's kind of some gothic colors, but with some like brightness to kind of go along with the like spray paint aspect from Junior's character. I've actually created a lot of animated production stuff from this. I've been able to have character designs and storyboards, and even like a 2-minute animatic of the pilot's teaser.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome. Misha, I saw you had a hand raised.
Yeah. Sorry, it's loud out here.
No worries.
I think it's not so much a moment, but just the tone overall is not and like the concept, it's super cute for animated, and I also didn't hear the animated part, so at first I was like, this isn't working, but if it were animated it would work. So I think I've just not heard or seen there's a fire truck right here, sorry. I've not heard or seen something animated in this vein of slasher comedy before, so to me it's very unique, and I think that's cool.
Sarthak.
Yeah, I just want to say, as a former teen boy, and I also have younger brothers, I think it's so sweet that you made this character also like a sweet person. I feel like that's some side of teen boys that we don't see all the time. So it's cool that he has both those things.
Awesome. Okay, so next question is, what are some questions that stood out at the end of the reading? So this can be related sort of to like character, structure, the story itself, but what are things, you know, and I know we haven't read the entire pilot even, but what are some things after hearing these 18 pages, some things that are lingering questions that maybe you have? Justin, yes.
I guess for me, it's like the Ghoulies is like, what's their deal? With the fact that he's being offered up to them is like, so what's going on with them, and like how are they taken out by the humans and things like that? It's like, so where is this going? Like, how does that relationship between the Ghoulies and the slashers, like, it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of vibe, right there, right off the bat, or the Jets and whatever West Side Story kind of feel.
Yeah, no, I relate to that too. Sort of like a question of like what's the hierarchy in the world? Like who is the ultimate monster? Who's the biggest, baddest monsters? The slashers, the ghoulies. Are there other monsters that we have yet to meet? Like that's a question that I'm curious about. Other questions, things that just yes, Leanne.
Well, I think like something really stands out to me about this piece is that the majority of questions that I have after it are like, what happens next? And like, oh, well, like, are there other monsters or is it? And they're all questions that are drawing me into the world further, which is exciting. Like that, I mean, that's kind of that's what I want to feel at the end of, especially an episode or anywhere, like in an episodic form, that's extra great. And yeah, I did not feel confused about what, I mean, aside from knowing that it's animation, I knew that the whole time. So I felt like, yeah, all of my question about character, like they're gonna tell me at some point, and it felt very comfortable in that. That was great.
Oh, okay. I know that so it's animated, so this sort of answers this question a little bit, but like, are there any moments that sort of like pull you out in terms of believability? Yes, I know Adam, you were talking about how like I don't know how you're gonna be able to shoot this and drive in with all these people, but like anything that you felt like even in an animated setting, you're like, I don't quite buy that, maybe from a story setting, or I feel like it doesn't feel realistic to me. I sort of even hesitate to use the word realistic, but it just doesn't resonate. All right. Cool. So
Ben, I just want to flag that I did see a hand from Michael before that question.
I was just gonna.
Oh,
ask,
I'm sorry. I cut off Michael.
Allowed to like get the broad strokes of like what we're not hearing today. Like there's more to the pilot or more to maybe like how you like, because I felt the same as you, Leanne. Like I'm curious like how the story ends and like what type of storytelling you plan to do as far as like episodic structure versus like, because it kind of has a serialized feel to it, like at least the way we sort of enter it. So just, are we allowed to ask? I don't know how the
yeah, that's actually a great segue into asking
how we finish and like how we sort of end and go into the rest of the show, just to like the quick version.
Yeah, do you feel up to answering that, Hannah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I would approach this with serialized perspective. I've always envisioned it having like a 3-season run with like 12 episodes per season. Not every single episode would interconnect, like you couldn't watch, you wouldn't have to watch it all the way in order, but it would have elements from other episodes in other episodes, and it would be told in a way where you could like watch an episode out of order and have a little bit of plot from something else, but you'd still be drawn into the story, because I personally approach writing with character first. So if I write somebody that you personally want to see more of, then I want to see more of them too.
Jumping off of that is, I'm wondering what do we feel like the audience for this sort of animated pilot would be? Is this the target audience where you're looking for teens and up, or is this like Adult Swim? Like what do we feel like, where does this sort of live?
I've seen it as like middle grade, like seventh graders and up. I've toyed with the idea. I've had like several drafts where if I wanted to put it on Adult Swim, I've added more kind of violence to make it kind of fit within that. But I've actually like focus group tested this kind of. My sister used to be a middle school English teacher, and I was able to kind of do a live reading with her entire class, and they just went nuts for it. So I know there's an audience there for those like just becoming teenagers who want to watch this kind of material. And I know adults who are into animation want to watch this material because I'm an adult in animation that wants this kind of material.
Braxton, I saw you had a hand up there.
Yeah, and also I think it would speak to people who are fans of like Scooby-Doo or like that old animation style or those old cartoons, you know, really reaching into that kind of feel. And I kind of got that when it was going, especially, you know, as soon as you mentioned also that the Shaggy character was like, okay, so I know it's on purpose. I know what you're going for. I love it. But I definitely feel it all added to that atmosphere. And people, I think, would want that.
Excellent. Okay. So Hannah, I'm just going to open this up if there's any questions that you would like to ask of our audience here.
Yeah. I know it's always important to ask anybody who reads anybody's material. What needs to be changed? Where can I improve? It can't all be good. Please just rip it to shreds. Tell me what I got to do.
Slash it, slash the whole thing.
Please. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
2 ribbons. Go for it.
Elaine.
This is not a critique, but I do think that there is an opportunity for that old slasher tropes to be in modern day, and I think that how to relate to the youth like nowadays and with social media and everything and you know with our main character being on social media and sort of I think there's so much to being a young adult today that it was a little flat back in the days that I think that you know being in the drive-in I was like oh I thought it was going to be current time and that's not anything negative. I just think that there is like so much to explore there. You know, especially the comment earlier about being able to dive into a more you know sensitive teenage boy, and I think there's so much angst there, and being able to you know slash people and how do you find people to slash, and so I think there's a lot of material there if it was a little more present in time.
Gwen.
Hi, I was going to say something similar. I'm in psychiatry, so it's interesting to hear the conflict. And I think it's really relevant today, finding oneself as, you know, as a young adult, having the parental voice, but then fighting against it, trying to find oneself and make it realistic and falling down and getting back up. And to see the juxtaposition between the father and the son being, you know, really very opposite, I think can also be really relevant for today. So I thought that was really great. Sorry, I didn't rip it to shreds, but I really saw the value in that. And I think to Alon's point, that's really where you can really capture. It depends who your target audience is, but the young people today are all about angst and finding themselves and finding their voice and transitioning from a total social media environment into kind of the real world. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Esme, you had a hand up, and then we'll go to CJ.
Okay. Elaine, is that how you pronounce your name? I thought that your take was very interesting. I'm 16, and I think that I have a slightly different opinion on that. I think that it can be refreshing seeing artists not having to tailor their work exactly to fit in social media, because I think sometimes it can be a little overdone, and in order to kind of like get that relation to the youth and to draw the youth in. So I kind of appreciated that it didn't have that sort of aspect, but I could see it with that aspect as well. But that was just my personal take on it.
All right, thanks, Esme. CJ.
Hey, I'm not gonna slash. I was just because when I was reading this, I was thinking about like I don't know how deep it will be, but I was thinking like the themes of it or how like because then what Gwen was saying too with like finding yourself because in the script it also introduces the parents as well. I think it was named Oka and the Carver. It introduces the parents too. So how did the I don't know if how deep it'll get, but how did the parents find themselves? How did the parents accept who they were as well? And then the other questions I was having was like, why are they slashing? The humans took out ghouls, so what's happening there? What's with the conflict? Like, are they doing it to survive? Are they doing it because they were supposed to? Like how the offsprings are just meant to slash because they're offsprings or ghouls and all that. So, that's what I was just thinking. Like, yeah, those were the questions that was what I was formulating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And there's also a comment here in the chat. I think Misha's posting this. If you wanted to take a look at that, but it's touching on similar questions about why are they slashers? What's the difference between a slasher and a psycho? And sort of rounding all of that out. Excellent.
Just also flagging the sort of comp that Misha's making here of like what we do in the shadows as an example of really humanizing like the sort of extreme violence that can be really disturbing. Like if you go too deep into it, you're like, well, this is a kind of messed up character, but there has to really, really balance that line between something that's like disgusting and something that's like entertaining.
Yeah, the more that you fall in love with
Carnal.
him, the more that you allow the blood, right? Yeah. Okay, Justin, yes.
So I watch a lot of horror films, and horror has kind of shifted over the last number of years, and part of it is because the things that we used to be afraid of in the 60s and 70s, we're no longer afraid of them because our world has changed so much. So social media, things like that, we have so much information. So I think actually to Alan, I'm sorry, hopefully I'm not butchering your name there. To his point, I think making it a little bit more modern day actually adds a whole nother level to it, because the slasher, you know the slasher is probably the most dangerous thing, the thing that people fear, like somebody just coming in. That's a real thing, but the ghouls thing, it's not really a thing anymore. Hence, like the humans kind of got rid of them. It's like it's not a threat because we know too much, so we're not afraid of the ghouls. So I think that element could add a level of could make it a little bit more interesting, and something that yes, it's modern day. I mean, it doesn't even have to be today, but it can add another layer on why, like, this kid, he wants no part of it, and the dad's living in the old world. So it's like now it's the whole generational thing coming in as well. And it's just like these kids aren't afraid of people the way they used to be. So I think that it could just add another layer to it.
I love that. I love that insight. Yeah, excellent. All right, we're going to go Braxton and Elaine, and then we're going to wrap up this. So Braxton first.
I was just going to add on top of that. I mean, there's also animation that plays with different weaving of different time periods, anachronisms. I think of Archer. I think of, there's ways where it's like they're using cell phones in one scene, and then in the other, they're going to a drive-in, or they're, a soda jerk and whatnot. But, I wonder if as long as it feels consistently inconsistent, if that'll give you the room to explore and do different even levels of horror. Like, I agree that yes, let's bring in some of the horror today and in the present, because that's definitely what's going to spark more. But I wonder if that's also, you can still speak to what was the horrors before, what can we build off of what came before, and how that can just seamlessly just go from scene to scene.
Thank you. All right, Elaine, take us home.
I think that there's a middle ground, because like I think that Esme's like has a good point as well. But I think even I'm 42, and even going from the 80s to the 90s, it's such a big difference in those films that even if it's late 90s, it's still modern enough for dad to be out of touch with what kids are doing, and how to just you can't just walk up to a drive-in and murder a bunch of people anymore. So there is like just additional tension between how things were done, and how also that teenage angst, the music that he plays. I think that finding that point in the 90s where there's not enough technology, like Esme said, so it's not like drowning folks in something that's already heavy, but there is enough distance for it to be funny between them as well, generationally, but also, and there's a landmine of references that you can make in the 90s that it'll be fun for sort of a lot of people.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Well, let's give a round of applause to Hannah. An excellent script.
Thank you, everybody, for reading. I really enjoyed hearing it.